I guess I will say a prayer to get us started. Yeah. So grateful to place my hand on my heart. So grateful for the love of God that is our very life and being. So grateful to accept and know the fullness of love that is our life, that is the truth of our being, that is the foundation, it is the circumference, it is the all in all. So grateful that we are hooked up to divine wisdom, pure intelligence at all times. We are love, we are perfection, we are wholeness. And this is what is made so clear in our service today. We are grateful to allow the inspiration to flow. We are grateful to truly open ourselves to a gift of insight and intuition. What I know for our music today is Freddie and Faith are bringing forward music that truly touches our heart, opens our mind, and shifts something within us. We're letting go of the past. This is what I know we are bringing forth, and we truly share the benefits with everyone. We let it be, and so it is. Amen. 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 Mm. Ah, yeah, beautiful. So we've got Freddie and Faith, and I've known them both for a long time and consider them dear friends, and they are a powerful duo. Rather than share both of your bios, which would take some time, I'm going to condense and say that I'll start with Freddie saying that they're both in California, and they both teach acting. They both are wonderful singers and musicians. And Freddie is someone who has done a lot of professional theater work in many different plays and all on big stages, and has done beautiful work that has inspired many people, and including me. And Faith, I have known for a couple of decades and done many, many Sunday services with her at Agape as well as here. And she is a powerful teacher. She teaches empowerment coaching, and she does voice and acting coaching. She is a science of mind practitioner, and she too has been on some powerful stages with powerful people. And she, her website is theartistfirst.com, also raisingyouриmpact.com. And she is a beautiful teacher and helps so many people. So those are my shortened versions, and I'm very glad you're both here today. I'm going to turn it over to both of you.
Alright, here we go. I hate to see you cry, laying there in that position. There's things you need to hear, so turn off your tears and listen. Pain throws your heart to the ground. Love turns the whole thing around. Yes, it will all go the way it should, and I know the heart of life is nothing new. Bad news never has good timing. But then the circle of your friends will defend that silver lining. Pain throws your heart to the ground. Love turns the whole thing around. Yes, it will all go the way it should, but I know the heart of life is good. Pain throws your heart to the ground. Love turns the whole thing around. Fear is a friend that's misunderstood, and I know the heart of life is good. I know it's good. I know it's good.
Wow, so beautiful. I'd love to hear the two of you together and see you together. So beautiful. Thank you so much. Ah, yes. Well, that was perfect. Yes. Life is good. Life is good. Love lifts us up. Hate throws us to the ground. Yes. We know this to be true. We do. We do. All right. So there's so much turmoil in the world, as we know. It seems to be escalating. And what have been contemplating in the last few days is underneath it all, underneath every kind of turmoil, whether it's someone who is bringing forth war and violence, whether it is someone who is in despair from abuse, whether it is someone who is calculating how to steal in order to get what they need, whether it is someone who is in a place of feeling a tremendous lack and limitation, no matter what is going on, when there's real distress, it really does come from this sense of unworthiness. And that sense of unworthiness that can display itself in our minds in different ways. So, for some people, I feel unlovable. For some people, I feel stupid. I feel incapable. For some people, I bad. For me, that it was definitely I'm bad, evil, wrong. Those were the words that were in my mind about myself, and that was my flavor of unworthiness, which I've talked about many times. So, not enough is another sense of unworthiness, right? Something's missing from me. I don't have it. I'm not special. I don't have gifts and talents. I don't have genius. And by the way, I have yet to meet somebody who doesn't have genius. I have yet to meet one person who doesn't have real identifiable gifts and genius. I really, to me, I really see God has given every single one of us these gifts and genius. We may not recognize them, we may not value them, but that doesn't mean that they're not there. And so, no matter where we think it comes from, this is the big illness in the world. This is the big dis-ease in the world. This is the big issue in the world, and it's behind all the evil, all the war, all the bullying, all the difficulties that we have in life emanate from this sense of unworthiness. Because when we feel unworthy, when we don't feel good enough, when we don't feel deserving of God's infinite goodness, then we won't allow ourselves to make use of it. We won't allow ourselves to receive it. We won't allow ourselves to allow it, to accept it, to enjoy it, to feel it. And so, this is why in the fear and conflict section of A Course in Miracles, Jesus says, don't ask me to take away the fear, ask me to take away the causes of fear. So, the causes of fear are the guilt and the sense of unworthiness and the blocks to love. They're all, to me, they're all the same. And so, when we can see that the person that we don't like, the person that maybe we hate, the person we're so angry at, doesn't feel worthy of love. And that is what precipitates their choices. That is what is causing them to act in such a way that's harmful or mean or uncaring or obnoxious or any of those kinds of things. That really it's because deep down, they do not feel worthy of anything good. And it's hard to imagine when people seem to have a lot that they would feel so unworthy and that that would be the cause of their anger, their obnoxiousness, their tirades, their bullying, and all of these kinds of things. But it is. And if we can see that person who's acting in that way as feeling unlovable, and that is the cause of their choices, of their words and their actions, of their thoughts and their decisions, if we can see that it's because they're coming from a place of desperation, deep sense of weakness and vulnerability, and they have never been taught that they are lovable. They have never been shown or taught in any real way that they could accept that they are worthwhile, that their life is worthwhile, that they are valuable as a person. That's never been able to be conveyed to them. There was no one really offering real love to them. Then it's understandable that they would be very distrustful and hurtful. And in a sense, I think of it as lost in time and space. Their consciousness is lost in time and space. They're floating. They don't know where they are, even though it seems like they do, because they have needs and wants and things that they're working towards. They have goals. But really, if the goal isn't more peace, more love, more joy, they are lost in time and space. They are sleepwalking. And they think they're awake, but they're sleepwalking. Many times, folks who are in that position, and this used to be me, they honestly have convinced themselves they're better than everyone. Sometimes they have convinced themselves that they're better than everyone. It's one of the ways that the mind plays tricks. They can't handle, and this was me, can't handle feeling less than, so they don't allow themselves to recognize it. And instead, they choose to feel better than, superior towards. And this leads to a deeper sense of separation, because one of the most basic ways that separation from God expresses itself in our consciousness is this better than, less than. But in the unity of all life, there is no better than, there is no less than. I come back to this all the time because A Course in Miracles teaches us that the cure for all of our suffering really is recognition of the unity of all life. And as long as we think that we're better than or less than, we are not interested in unity. And we probably don't even in our heart accept there is such a thing. As long as we're going on and on about how we're better than or less than, even just in our own consciousness, can we possibly be invested in the unity of all life? So for me, I'm very grateful that growing my consciousness in the agape community right alongside Faith Rumer, it was really clear in that community that unity is curative. Unity consciousness is curative, and that this is the major illness, the sense of separation, the sense of disconnection, and that we have within our power the ability to accept the unity of all life. And so I remember talking with Ken Wapnick um, back in 2011 when he was on my podcast. He was episode number 2 of my podcast. And I asked him, Ken, how do you explain the unity of all life to people? And he said, oh, I don't even try. It's too complicated to understand. It's too hard to understand. And I didn't agree with him. I don't think I told him that at the time. I was being very respectful. But I don't agree with him. I think this is my perception around it. Although surely he's a wise man, and I would say it just a little bit differently. The unity of all life is so simple. It's so simple. There's nothing outside of God. There's nothing in addition to God. There's nothing in competition with God. There's nothing opposed to God ever in any way. There is only the one. We can call it whatever we want to call it the great mystery, call it spirit, call it awareness. Doesn't matter what you call it, does not matter. These are just words. But it is all there is, and it is unified. There's just no other thing. It's the only thing there is. And intellectually, we can accept this is the only thing there is. Emotionally, it's more challenging, but we can get there. We can get there. And we might come and go from recognition of unity, and that's okay. That's okay. It's not a crime. Right? It's not a crime to be triggered. It's not a crime to have our consciousness fall through the floor. It's not a crime. It's just part of our human experience. And we don't have to punish ourselves for it or even feel like a failure, because actually every time that we lose our seat, fall off the wagon, or however we might characterize it, whenever that happens, there is some learning that occurs. There's some deeper understanding that occurs. There's some insight that occurs, and that's always helpful, and it's always a good thing. So not a problem to go in and out. If we are interested in truly valuing the unity of all life, it will come clear to us, and we will be able to stand in it with greater and greater steadiness. And that's my personal goal, is to stand in the unity of all life. And standing in the unity of all life means that we can recognize our brothers and sisters and our mothers and fathers. Everyone is part of us and we are part of them. And we may have aspects of our self, aspects of our personality, of our human experience that we don't like. So there may be people in the world that we don't like, their personalities, but we can recognize, and yet I am still one with them. I'm still one with them. And so I'm not interested in attacking them. I'm not interested in harming them. And I don't need to go to war with them in my mind or in the world. I don't have to fight them and I don't have to argue with them. I can simply accept that they are, in my view, because they are here to help me, just like everything else I see. And of course, Miracles is very clear. Everything is helpful. Everything is helpful. Everything is helpful. So for me, one of the helpful things was to stop rejecting that some things were helpful and some things were not. Very, very healing to my consciousness to just accept everything is helpful. Whether I like it or not, everything is helpful. Everything. Every situation, every occurrence. Because I used to be one of those people that would go over and over things in my mind like a hamster on a wheel, trying to figure out, is this good? Is this bad? Is this right? Is this wrong? And who do I blame for it if it's not right and it's not what I want? If it's wrong, whose fault is it? I don't want it to be mine. But because of A Course in Miracles and the beautiful teachings contained in that book, I did come to see that taking responsibility for what I think and what I feel, as well as what occurs in my experience, is the way out of the hellaciousness of this human life. It is the way out of complaining. It is the way out of thinking things are wrong and bad and then being mad that they're wrong and bad. It's the way out of all of that. And so we can put all of that behind us when we are willing. So you take a breath there. So, because we're all of God, these teachings are embedded in our consciousness. They're written in our heart. They are tattooed on our soul, if you will. They're part of the very essence of our being, of our intelligence. And so what's true is true for everyone all the time. It's available to our awareness all of the time. But when we fight with ourselves because we'd like to call others wrong and bad, because we'd like to think we're a loser and we've done things wrong just because it's our habit. When all of that comes up, it can be very difficult. So for me, it's about having tools and techniques to relax the mind into the truth. So I've learned that I personally like and find it very helpful to accept what I have come to think is true, even if I don't know it. So when I was learning about the unity of all life and what that really meant, I didn't really comprehend it, but I did think it was true. I did think it was true. And so I began to just tell myself, this is true. This is true. And I'd like to see anything that is evidence that it's not true, if it's not true. And if it is true, I'd like to see the evidence that it is true. So I'm interested in truth either way. I'm interested in truth either way. And so I I'm having this experience now of really being aware when I disagree with the truth. Because that's something I decided I wanted, is I wanted to have a little tap, tap, tap on my consciousness that, hey, that's not actually true. That thought you're thinking, it's not actually true. Those words you're saying, they're not actually true. Even though they seem true, they're not actually true. And this is part of the consciousness shift that is happening right now in all humanity, in this waking up. Because for a long, long time, we have studied various kinds of spiritual religious teachings. We've been in many lifetimes members of churches and synagogues and temples and different kinds of religious communities. We, in many lifetimes, have been part of all kinds of different communities that had an agreed upon way of thinking and looking at the world that they felt was truthful. We have found that we are able to see that many of these thought systems are in some ways not actually true. They're interpretations. They are the meaning that people made of things and how they decided to add those things to that ancient religious teaching or spiritual or philosophical teaching. And so we're starting to recognize that we can depart from the way we grew up. We're really recognizing that we can have our own thoughts and recognize the truth, even if no one in our family accepts it, even if no one we know agrees with it. We can align with truth, and that was something that I began to do, is to sort of secretly align with truth, because I didn't know other people who were believing what I believed, or knew what I knew, or thought what I thought, felt what I felt. And so we're making this shift. And with this shift comes that sense of worthiness, because we're valuing what's true rather than the meaning we made of things, rather than our interpretations. And so it's really worth looking around our consciousness, looking around our life, and to see where we might be giving credence to and support for these old ways of thinking that aren't true, and to come out from among them. And it just takes our willingness. So I started to say, I'm really willing to understand the unity of all life. I'd really like to understand the unity of all life. I'd really like to apply the knowing of the unity of all life to all of my life, to all of my conversations, all of my activities, all of my relationships. I'd like to see with God's vision rather than to see with egoic eyes anymore. I'm really interested in wearing my big girl pants every day, all day, and my big God pants, we could say. I'm interested in that. And so when we move into that kind of a space of great willingness to align with the truth, because we see that it's helpful to us, we see and feel that it's restorative to us, we recognize that it's healing to us, to our families, to our friends, to our coworkers. When we see all of that activity happening, and then we get a nudge where we really have to go. We really have to follow. And so it can be interesting to suddenly, seemingly out of the blue, to start getting these nudges and these nudges of truth. But it does come from our willingness to be more interested in the truth than the meaning we've made of things, than the story we have about things. And in this journey of transforming our interest in the truth, what happens is that sense of worthiness comes forward. When we're aligned with truth, then we do feel more worthy of God's love. Because when we're aligned with something that's not truth, it feels like something is broken inside of us. Something is not quite aligned, not quite right. And that causes distress. It really does. So it's natural, I think, in our human experience for us to go backwards and forwards. But when we can see we're believing something that's not true, if we can hand that over to the Spirit and be willing to let it go. So, for instance, something that comes up on a regular basis in my life is people who think that the body has its own intelligence, that it has a decision-making power, when A Course in Miracles is very clear that it does not. It does not. But what it does do is it's an avatar for us. So has anybody seen the movie Ready Player One? Ready Player One? I encourage you to see it. It's a good movie. It was directed by Steven Spielberg. And it's the story of a young man who has some worthiness issues. And he lives in a society in the future where people interact with each other in the metaverse, whatever that is. I've never visited the metaverse, but it's like that there's a virtual reality where people have avatars, right, that represent them in that virtual reality, and people are meeting each other in the virtual reality and interacting and doing different things and being creative, being doing all the things that they do in the non-virtual reality, but now they're doing them in a virtual reality. And so people go to work in the virtual reality, et cetera, et cetera. They meet, they fall in love in the virtual reality in this world in Ready Player One. But there's always something lacking in the virtual reality, right? Of course there is. It's that heart to heart connection. And it's that feeling that we have, I'll call it aura to aura, that we have when we're connected with somebody physically right in front of us. So Ready Player One is an interesting story about people living in a virtual reality. And all these stories are coming forth now because, like The Matrix and Ready Player One and other ones where people are moving, we could say, dimensions and things like that. Because we're willing now, consciousness is more and more willing now to see that this is a virtual reality that we are living in. We are living in a virtual reality. So we don't need to escape this virtual reality to go to another virtual reality. We can keep our experience here. And, if you want to play around in that, that's fine. But the thing is a lot of people who escape into virtual reality, what they are doing is truly, they're trying to escape that sense of unworthiness. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Ultimately, it will fail because through our self-acceptance and self-forgiveness, that's how we come back into a sense of worthiness. It's not through accomplishment. The only accomplishments that can build our sense of worthiness is the accomplishments of being loving and kind and generous and patient and caring of our brothers and sisters and ourselves and our bodies. That can bring us into that place of worthiness. But accomplishment, such as being able to write a play or publish a book or build a bridge or bake the best pizza or whatever it might be, build the most efficient car, any of those things, those are wonderful, but they won't undo the sense of unworthiness. They just can't. It has to be done in the invisible, in our heart, through extending love and compassion. It's the only thing I know of that actually works. And we can do that. It's one of the reasons why we have our forgiveness workshops all the time. It's what the focus is in all our programs in the Power of Love Ministry. So I'm going to invite everybody to place their hand on their heart. And let's just take an honest look here, very gently, very lovingly. So with divine vision, we're just looking at the ways in which we feel like we'd like to escape who we are or what we think we are. What are the ways that we fantasize about escaping? Just being willing to make a note of those things and those issues so that we can instead recognize our holiness is intact and to bring that to our awareness as a healing for a sense of lack and limitation, recognizing that we are profoundly loved. Just being willing to accept it, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it feels so elusive. So for me, being able to say, I accept that there's just the one life, the one power, the one presence, and I am accepting that I am worthy of love, even if it doesn't feel true, even if I don't believe it's true, I still am worthy of love. And when we're really willing, we truly can open up to the universe to give us signs that it's true. But remember that don't ask Jesus to take away the fear, but instead to take away of the root causes of fear, the root causes of unworthiness, the root causes of anger, whatever the root causes are of any distress that we're feeling. Let's give it to the Holy Spirit for healing. So I'm going to invite you to continue to contemplate that as we go into the music here with Freddie and Faith.
Thank you for that, Jennifer. Here we go. I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers, I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay until the end. I've got a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see, but standing here in the promised land, this hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly best and duly grateful. It's not that I don't want a lot, or hope for more, or dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes me so much happier than keeping score. In a world that can bring pain, I will still take each chance, for I believe that whatever the terrain, my feet can learn to dance. Whatever stone life may sling, I can moan or I can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful. Thank you.
Stay up there, Freddie. So stay up there if you will.
Okay. Whew.
Thank you both.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Freddie, remind us where did this song come from?
It's an off-Broadway show called It's Only Life. It's only life, it's not that big a deal. I love that show. But Jennifer, as anyone knows, that conversation in my head was so awful 10 years ago. I came to stay with Jennifer in Kauai, and that was the beginning of me learning. And I don't feel like that anymore. When I feel those voices, you're a loser, you're not enough, you're not worthy, you're insufficient. And those were dangerous voices for me. They took me down a very dark road. And all the work that we've done, Jennifer helped me so much, and I don't have those voices anymore. And so that song for me, that's how I stay there. I just stay grateful. Stay grateful.
Mm.
Yep, it's true. Gratitude is one of the most basic spiritual practices to keep our vibration high. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. How can we be open to more good if we're not grateful for what we have right this minute, right?
Mm.
Yes, beautiful.
Mm.
All right, we're going to go into our breakouts now. So I'm going to invite everybody in the breakout to just share what's meaningful for you to share today on this topic, if possible, of unworthiness and healing unworthiness and sense of otherness and the connection to unity of all life, being able to recognize that if we're feeling unworthy, we've forgotten there's unity with the one. So we'll go into the breakout, and they're not very long. So when you come back, we'll have some more inspiration. All right.
Mm.
April's opening the rooms right now. Thank you for being here, April, and for being our pilot.
Julie got to.
Yeah, I lost it.
Mm.
I lost it at the end.
Mhm.
People are going into the rooms there. Excellent. Okay, so that leaves us.
Just the three of us?
Just the three of us. We're having our
Wow.
own breakout. You know, it's being recorded. And uh yeah, I've been talking. So would you like to share, Faith? Would you like to share something?
Oh, that so much beautiful things to share with what you were speaking about in Freddie's last song. I was in tears over here. I know he ended up in tears at
Yeah.
the end. But there was something in the verse in the song that I have been really, working with this in the last month or so in my life. And it said, "It's not that I don't want a lot, or hope for more, or dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes me so much happier than keeping score."
Hmm.
And I think that's, um, it seems like I know that I feel like I've been raised, and maybe a lot of us, to keep score in life. And it's like, and it happens in so many different ways. Am I doing enough? Am I getting what I need out of life? Am I comparing to myself to someone else? And it's that beautiful um, openness of letting spirit move through me, asking for more, saying this is what I'd like. And I love whenever you say that, Jennifer. This is what I'd like. I'd like this. Not that I need this or I want this, but I'd really like this. I'd really like a relationship, a real loving relationship. And then, oh, if I'd like that, how can I be that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe how isn't the right word. What, what, what can I do in my life? What does this day hold for me? That
Yeah.
feels, because sometimes how can be one of those words like, how do I do that? How do I make that happen? It becomes a question of someone give me the answer. Don't you know what I mean? And I think that as spiritual students, that's sometimes what a lot of spiritual students do, myself included, like, just give me the answer. Give me that answer. I can do
Right.
that. And it's not an answer, it's a practice, which is what I love about your ministry. It's all of the things that we do. We practice the forgiveness, we practice worthiness, feeling worthy.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think of something that's really helped me over the years is my job is not to know how, my job is to allow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Allow.
yeah, things are shifting in my life with my business right now. Things are going on, and some of it looks scary, like and some of it looks really open to me. So, there, you said that fear what does the Course in Miracles says that fear is not to get rid of the fear, but to get rid of the root cause. So
Yes.
if I'm fearing the scary parts, I would call them, then I'm not trusting that all is well,
Mm.
and not living in enough gratitude. So that is my this week mantra. I trust and live in gratitude.
Yes.
I trust all is well, no matter
Yeah.
what's happening in the world.
It's a powerful spiritual practice to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's no joke.
No, it's not.
Yeah. And to be able to do that in all kinds of circumstances is a tremendous skill. We can develop that skill. We really can. I call it radical trust.
You should do a course on radical trust.
Well, we
Well,
should.
it's part of masterful
Yeah,
living.
yeah, radical trust.
It is. It's part of masterful living because trust, Course in Miracles, trust is the number one characteristic of God's teachers. And it is, it's just the absolute foundation. And focusing on that. And every time we're disturbed, where's our trust?
Mm-hmm.
Where's our trust?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. Faith, did you ever go on a meditation retreat with Reverend Michael?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I haven't been on one with him in 20 years or more, but I've been on a dozen of them. And we'd be sitting in the silence and he would say, "Where's your attention? Where's your attention?" So when I taught myself that when I felt disturbed, I would say to myself, "Where's your attention? Is your attention on love, on God? Or is it on your opinions? Is it on your perceptions? Because if it's on my opinions and perceptions, I'm in the past, I'm not in the present moment, where the love is, where the prosperity is,
Yeah.
where the beauty is every time. So just where is my attention? Oh, okay. It's in the past. It's in the past, bringing it forward to the present moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we get triggered, it's an opportunity to have a healing. So it's not a bad thing, but it is an opportunity.
And choosing, for me, the cultivation is the choosing, the leaning into the trust. Because this last month, I lost half my students. 3 or 4 of them went, and so half my finances kind of went out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And and I had just got back from New York, where I spent a lot of money, and the thought came. Of course, that thought came. It's all gonna end. It's all gonna be over. What does that mean? But then I remembered, like you said, where's my attention? Where's my trust? I said, where am I going to lean into? So that's what I practiced this month, is just leaning into that. There's a couple people that are now looking to start class, so the numbers will go back up again. But I didn't have to spend the month in fear. I could just say, you know what, higher power's got it. I'm constantly working for my higher power. Page 63 of the big book says we have a new employer. We have a new employer. So there you go. I got it. It's going to be fine. So I didn't have to spend the month in fear, which would have been what happened before, which probably would have energetically pushed the money farther away. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. But choosing trust, leaning into trust, and the line in the big book, made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of a God of our understanding. And that word care changes everything. Do you know? But that's not what struck me about your talk today. For me, when you talked about the oneness, and that guy had told you that it was difficult to teach, but I teach it all the time because I felt so separate before in my disease and my addiction. I felt so alone. But I remember when you told me, I remember when Frank and I kind of were going different directions, and you said, "Where's it going to go? You're connected. Where's it going to go?" That changed everything for me. But yeah, I just feel so connected to everyone in the world, and I can talk to the lady in the cash register line. I can talk to the Harley Davidson guy. I can talk to anybody now. And I used to feel so alone. So for me, I don't know that it's about teaching the law of oneness, but I do with my sponsees and my mentees. But I feel like I'm living it. I'm definitely I do feel connected to that tree outside. You know what I mean? I do feel that connection and that oneness all the time now. We're not going anywhere. We're just floating in space. We're just going together. We're not going anywhere. So
Nowhere to go.
where to go. So that's what struck out to me today. You know, I felt like that song fit your talk too because it was the opposite of those voices, those negative voices. And they were so dangerous to me, those voices, like life and death dangerous. Do you know? So that's it. That was a good. I love that message today. Thank you.
What would you say, Freddie, is the key to undoing the connection to that voice of my life isn't worth living?
Well, you said two things today that I thought were key for me, and uh, Faith also affirmed it. It's cultivation of the practice. I have to get up every morning and tell myself something different than what my voices are going to try to tell me that day. So I cultivate those ideas and concepts about myself. I'm powerful, I'm worthy, I'm perfect, whole, and complete. And the other part, of course, is all the therapy that I had to get rid of the blocks that keep me from allowing not just the love, but the blessings, and to be able to allow abundance in and allow friendships in and good relationships. I had to do all the work that was down there that were those voices that were sort of entrenched in me since my childhood, that were telling me that I was no good and insufficient and incapable. So those were the two keys. I did a lot of healing work inside, but I also have to get up every morning and practice telling myself something different today. And I do that every day. Yeah, I notice within 2 or 3 days, if I don't do that, they start creeping back in. It doesn't take long for me. They start creeping back in. It takes me a few days only, you know. I call it being crunchy. Crunchy. I'm crunchy now. I gotta go do my morning practice.
Yeah.
I don't like being crunchy.
For me, the thing that really has undone so much, of course, is the self-forgiveness work. Course in Miracles tells us forgiveness offers everything I want. And I've learned that is true. And so doing that deep, deep self-forgiveness work, it just undid all those opinions. But I had to do the actual work and follow the path that I now teach. That's how I learned it. And then the other thing is to really practice being patient, kind, loving, generous of heart with everyone, everywhere, all the time. Course in Miracles says that those who are loving are invulnerable. And we're invulnerable to those negative thoughts and beliefs. And that's been very, very helpful to me. I really appreciate that. So they're back from the breakout. Here they are. So I love to check in and just see how was your breakout. How was your breakout? Was it good? Helpful? Yay, appreciate that. Yeah, if you made any decisions, had any ahas that you'd like to affirm, put them in the chat. If there's anything you'd like prayer about, please put it in the chat right now, and we'll hold that with you. I love being able to do that. So please, 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 especially I know so many of you well. And all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a few announcements, and then we are going to have another song from Freddie and Faith. So announcements. we have a couple of things coming up here in the Power of Love ministry. So I started a new, I'm calling a deep dive workshop series. I'm doing a workshop once a month, and I'm going to do that. I've got 6 planned so far. I'm sure we'll have more. And so the next one is my worthiness workshop, which is on Saturday, October 19th. We also have the workshop with Kieran J. Gardner, from ego drama to spiritual power, ego drama to spiritual power. So those are 2 things that are coming up. I'm also going to be opening the Masterful Living registration for next year. And I am going to have a bonus I've not given before to, it's going to be the limited quantity bonus for people who are signing up for the first year of Masterful Living. And sometimes when I say first year of Masterful Living, people go, oh, there's many years. Well, it's, if you would like to keep going, you can. So, because when I did the first year of Masterful Living in 2009, I never thought I would do a level 2 or 3 or anything like that. So but then people said, well, wait, what happens next year? I want to do another year. So I now have several levels. We have several levels of Masterful Living. So that registration is going to open in just a couple weeks. So, or less, depending on how quickly I can get it ready. And so those are the things that are coming up. And we always have forgiveness workshops coming up. So you can sign up for the next one right now, and they're all free. There's usually one every other week or so, something like that. Okay. I am going to turn this over to Freddie and Faith, and if they have any announcements, they will tell you.
Okay, so I just put my information in the chat, and I released my new song called "We Are the Angels." Very, very,
So good.
yeah, it's such a great song for what's happening right now.
Good.
And you can get it on Spotify, any of the whatever, wherever, however you get your music. And you can connect with me, faith@theartistfirst.com. Voice and acting, my website is The Artist First. And then if you want spiritual counseling or voice and speech work, you can check out raisingyouриmpact.com. And Freddie's information, Freddie?
Yeah, it's right there. My website's there. Acting and voice. I also do acting and voice on Zoom, so you don't have to be in California. And I'm also a certified meditation teacher, so if you need meditation, you can reach me through that website, and we can do a Zoom session or a phone session as well.
Yes, and I have a book coming out at the end of this month, Truly Be Seen and Heard. I'm very excited to share it with you. I'll let you know when you can actually get that. So put it in. I'll be seeing you all in another Sundays with Spirit.
Yes, I want to pre-order that.
Yes, so pre-order will probably start at the end of this month, and then it'll go for like 3 weeks or so. But I'll let everybody know when that happens. Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, I heard her song. So good, you guys.
Woo!
Go get it. Okay, here we go. All right. Let's.
Are we here?
Yeah, that one right there. Anytime you laugh, anytime you cry, anytime you hear a sound, when you're on the grass, lying on the ground, anytime you wash your hands, I'll be around. I'll be there in the baseball field, though I'm well concealed. I'll be out there cheering. I'll be there in the books you read, and it's guaranteed I'm not disappearing fast. Anytime, no, not anytime. and I am there each morning. I am there each fall. I am present without warning, and I'm watching it all. Yes, I'm watching it all. Oh, I am there in music. I am there in sky. You may not know why things do happen, but this much is clear. Anytime or anywhere, I am there. Anytime you pray, anytime you fight, anytime you've gained a pound, anytime it's day, anytime it's night, anytime the earth moves, I'll be around. I'll be there in the maple trees, on a summer breeze, on a perfect evening. I'll be there when you celebrate, when the world seems great. I'll be waiting by your side. Anytime, yes, anytime. And I am there each morning. I am there each fall. I am present without warning, and I'm watching it all. Yes, I'm watching it all. Oh, I am there in flowers. I am there in snow. You may not know why these things happen, but this time it's clear. Anytime you cry, anytime you sing, for anything, I am there each morning, I am there each fall. You may not know why things do happen, but this much is clear. Be aware, I am there, I am there, I am there, I am there. I am there, I am there, I am there.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Oh,
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
and tell us where that song comes from, Freddie.
It's a trio of shows called Elegies by William Finn, Falsettos. It's a beautiful
Right.
show. Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you both. Thank you, Faith. Thank you, Freddie. So appreciate you. That's it for us today. I'm going to say a prayer to close us out. We are grateful and thankful to open ourselves to the continuous healing and transformation, the renewal of our mind. We are grateful and thankful to recognize that each and every one of us lives at the very heart of God, the center of God. And we are indeed one with each other and with all of life, one with the one. We are grateful to allow ourselves to truly know this, to truly feel this, and to recognize that there is nothing against us. Everything is for us. We are grateful to open our hearts and minds as we go forward to see the truth, know the truth, feel the truth, and speak the truth, teach the truth everywhere we go. We are grateful to be open-hearted, loving-hearted, generously loving and patient and kind. This is our true nature, and it is healing to us. We are sharing the benefits with everyone everywhere because we are one with them. We let it be, and so it is. Amen. 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 Much love. Mwah. Bye for now.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.